Welcome to Football at the Round Table with
Steve
and Josh. We're going to talk about the 2014 NFL mock drafts today.
Yeah, you're the expert. I'm all pro. He puts value in college.
Sounds great. So today we'd start off with the first round of mock draft 1, and that'd be the 2014 mock draft. We'd start with the Houston Texans.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you actually want to present the things?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So the first pick, the Texans.
We're looking at Blake Bortles from Central Florida. Guy's 6 foot tall, 6 foot 3 inch actually, 230 pounds. Runs a good 4.740. I mean, you can't go wrong with a guy like that. He looks the most professional. His hand size is just about right. You know, you're looking at some good stuff there. What are you thinking?
It's interesting. You know, a lot of people project that Johnny Football might be the Houston Texans' first pick, just being the local boy.
Just being the local boy.
What gives Blake the edge over Johnny?
Well, he's a lot more like Ben Roethlisberger in the fact that he's a big dude. He's got the accuracy to begin with, let alone he's got tons of throw power, and he's not going to get injured very often. Johnny Manziel's a little more flashy. You know, he's definitely a first-round pick, but he's a little bit more flashy, a little more injury-prone, you know, but I'm definitely going to say Blake Bortles at number 1.
All right.
He fits the Texas scheme, you know what I mean? He definitely does.
All right, right on. So St. Louis has second pick. Who you got for the second pick?
We got Giovanni Clowney from South Carolina, the Gamecocks. He's just a freak athlete. So, you know, 6 foot 6 inches. You know, he's good 274. So I mean, he's not as heavy as you'd think, as much as most defensive ends or defensive linemen, but he's fast. I mean, this guy kills it. He was averaging about 13 sacks per year in college. Let alone he ran a 4.53. So, I mean, if this guy comes around the corner, by the time you realize he's around that corner, you're on your back. You're done. You're TKO. It doesn't even matter if you're Colin Kaepernick. And you're gone.
Yep.
You're gone. Done for.
Freak of nature.
Freak of nature, man. He's a beast.
Everyone would agree. If he's not first pick, he's definitely second.
There's no way he's
overall.
making it past St. Louis. It's not possible.
Yep.
I couldn't see that at all.
All right, with number 3, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville's got a lot of issues on their team, obviously. Even after free agency, they didn't achieve too much so far in the free agency, so I'm thinking Teddy Bridgewater. So they definitely, I mean, they traded away Blaine Gabbert to San Francisco. What they got, Chad Henne now?
Yeah.
What are they working with? You know what I mean? What do they got going on with Chad Henne? That's not the answer.
Yeah.
You can't answer it with that. So you got Teddy Bridgewater.
I got all sorts of things I can talk about with that trade, but I'm going to save that for a later show. All right, right on. So the next pick, Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland, we're looking at Johnny Manziel. They haven't had a face of their franchise in a while, so he brings a little bit of an X factor. He brings that, like, you know, I got attitude. I got tons of attitude. I'm going to be a cover of magazines. I'm going to basically be a poster boy like Colin Kaepernick. I'm going to be everywhere. Posing my shirt off, doing my thing. Let alone the fact that, you know, he played for Texas A&M. He had a lot of good games. He's got a decent hand size. He's like 9 and 7, 8 inches. So, I mean, he's not looking at anything really that bad. His accuracy's a little bit meh. A little bit questionable. Other than that, he's a great quarterback. Definitely a pull it out of the butt kind of guy.
Right on. That's kind of a popular thing these days.
Yeah.
So with the next pick, Oakland.
Well, for Oakland, obviously, the beautiful Oakland, we're looking at Sammy Watkins. This guy, as in Oakland, they don't have a lot of outside weapons. We got Denarius Moore, Jacoby Ford. None of them are really holding on to that ball. You know what I mean? Like, I love them to death. They're great players. They got tons of talent, just not Randy Moss hands, man. You know what I mean? So you got a guy who's looking at like 6'1", but I mean he runs a 4.43 at 205 pounds.
It's a fast boy.
Big ass hands, too. 9 and 7, 8 inches hands. He's got quarterback hands on a giant receiver. Almost 10 inch hands.
That's like 7 inches, so that's a freak hand.
It is, man. He's gonna catch that one-handedly, man. So he's gonna be a great upgrade. His vertical's at 34 inches too, so I mean you can't go wrong with that. You know what I'm saying?
Right on. So next up, Atlanta Falcons.
Greg Robinson, offensive tackle out of Auburn. This guy is supposedly the best tackle coming out of past generation of football. Atlanta can't pass on that. I mean, they got Matt Ryan in the pocket, Matty Ice. You know, he needs to maybe get some more heat in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? So Greg Robinson's a 6'5", 320-pound man. You know, he runs a pretty slow 40, but I mean, when you're just a giant.
Offensive tackle.
And you're a giant, though. I mean, you know what I mean? He can get off the stat pretty quick, but I mean, he's a giant. He doesn't need to move fast. You got to move around him to get anywhere.
Yep.
So.
Right on. So the next pick, Tampa Bay Bucks.
Looking at another offensive tackle. His dad was actually a Hall of Famer. Jake Matthews' dad. He's a Hall of Famer, and he played the same kind of position that Jake Matthews did. He's an offensive tackle, and Jake Matthews did again 6'5", 6'5", 305 pounds. Slower than snot, but he's just He's giant. He's got the intangibles, man.
Right on.
He learned from a professional. I mean, a Hall of Famer. He's his father. I mean, you can't say he passed on any sort of knowledge in that level.
Right on. So the next pick, the Vikings.
Vikings got a very weak backfield, if I do say so myself. I mean, they have some upside coming up. They lost Jared Allen, though, on the defensive line, so it's kind of a toss-up.
But have they lost him?
Not 100% yet. It's not coming back. He hasn't signed with anybody. He's feeling it out. But he's feeling it out. I heard he went to Seattle recently, and he left without a deal. But I mean, you can't really say too much about that. He'll probably go back to Seattle.
Right. He wants to go to Dallas, chasing a championship. I don't think so.
It's funny.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah. So we got Justin Gilbert, actually, fastest cornerback in like ever. I mean, he runs a 4.35.
Yeah.
I mean, tell me at 6 foot, 200 pounds, 4.35 is not freakish. For the record, Chris Johnson ran a 4.33. Chris Johnson.
Yep.
This guy's like 2 milliseconds almost at that point.
1/50th of a second.
Away from being Chris Johnson in the backfield at 6 foot. I mean, come on.
Right on. All right. After the Vikings, we got the Bills.
The Buffalo Bills. Tons of problems. After OJ left multiple years ago, we got tons of problems. OJ brought his problems after Buffalo, okay? He was a successful man in Buffalo. But we got Khalil Mack, the outside linebacker. And, you know, this guy was a freak. He had 75 tackles for loss in college. Right, 75. Forced fumbles, 16. 16 forced fumbles. So if he can't bring a little attitude to Buffalo, they might need to pick O.J. Simpson up out of jail and say, yo, come play for us. Come play for us. Bring back what you once had.
Alright, next up is the Lions.
Detroit Lion. We got Anthony Barr. He can play defensive end or outside linebacker. This guy is a freak athlete at 6'4", 248 pounds. He's got a 40-yard dash of 4.48. That guy can't get around the edge. Might as well give up on outside linebackers.
It's just not happening. Yeah.
It's just not happening for anybody at that point. I mean, if he can't bring a little bit of flair, because, you know, they just got Golden Tate. So my first projection on my mock draft was going to be a wide receiver. That's what I was thinking. You know, something to compliment Calvin Johnson, because that'd be overwhelming. Right? Now they got Golden Tate, though.
Yep.
Let's beef up that defense.
Which is why we waited till free agency was pretty much done to do our mock draft, because free agency changes everything.
It does, completely.
All right. Next up, Tennessee Titans.
Now, the receiver I planned out putting in Detroit is moving down to Tennessee. Because if you look at Tennessee's offense, name a receiver for me. Nothing at all. Might not even have Chris Johnson at the end of the year. So, you know, they're going to need something to lift them up out of that crapper and make some moves. So we're looking at Mike Evans. He's a 6 foot tall, 5 inch, or 6'5".
That's 6.5 feet.
6.5 feet. I mean, you're looking at like Megatron size with 225 pounds with a 40 of 4.58. Outran most of our quarterbacks.
Yep.
Which is not phenomenal, but nowadays quarterbacks are really fast. And he came from the same school as Johnny Manziel, so, you know, I mean, he kind of carried Johnny Manziel, I'm just saying. But same time, they're both great players, so I'm thinking Mike Evans down to Tennessee. That's what I'm thinking. They could really use a boost all around.
All right. Next up, Giants.
Last year, the one way we could describe Giants was either sacks, lack of success, interceptions. That's about my list. So what do you think when you hear sacks and interceptions? You're thinking offensive line, right? And in a draft that's got so much depth to offensive line, I'm thinking Taylor Lewan. It's an offensive tackle, right? Comes at 6'7", 315 pounds out of Michigan.
It's a giant.
If he can't block Eli Manning, you can't find some sort of success. I mean, this guy takes up half your offensive line. Okay, I mean,
the giant.
He's putting weight on your offensive line. You're looking at Goliath. As long as nobody throws a stone at this man's face, done deal. That's all I'm saying. Let's keep David out of the game, though.
Right on. Okay, well, the next pick, St. Louis has another pick.
So we're looking at, you know, St. Louis already got their one big pick up at the top, and they were picking up, I think it was, St. Louis had Giovanni Clowney, so they already beefed up their front line a little bit. But, you know, St. Louis has always been known for having a decent defense this year, I think, so I've heard. So we're looking at the safety position, though. I'm thinking, Clint Dixon. You know, is what I say when I think about St. Louis in the first place. So how can you not think a guy with the name should go to St. Louis?
Fit right in.
He'd fit right in. He'd go there and be laughing just like everybody else. So we're looking at a 6'1", 208 pound free safety. Okay, this guy's a ball hawk. I heard he makes plays. You know, I mean, he's not as much as a big hitter. I heard, even though he's got the size, but he's a coverage guy. He can make moves.
Right on.
Saw him at the combine too. It's pretty sweet.
Right on. Okay, up next is the Bears.
The Bears? Well, first off, I'd like to start off, they stole Lamar Houston, so you suck. Second off, though, Lamar Houston deserves tools. And this is coming from a man who loves Lamar Houston. Timmy Jernigan. Defensive tackle, 6'2", almost 300 pounds. Just two pounds off 300 pounds. We're looking at like another Vince Wilfork.
That's a thick dude.
And you're looking at like, probably about a 5.0 40, just a little bit. Just like his weight is just 2 off of a 5.40. But, if this guy's filling that spot, and my dude Lamar Houston, love you, is going to come around that outside and just tear it apart. I mean, he's just going to just rip them to shreds. They don't even know what great contract they have with Lamar Houston. But they could definitely use it on the defensive line.
Yeah. And the next pick, we got Schittsburg.
Schittsburg, definitely. Schittsburg sucks. And all I want to say is start off with a 94-yard touchdown. Beautiful.
Burn.
By this man, Terrell Pryor. Awesome. Okay, so we're looking at Eric Ebron, tight end, right? So you guys got Heath Miller, who's overpaid. Honestly, getting a little old. So why don't you bring in a big 6'4", 245-pound man that can run, about a 4.6, 740. So he's not incredibly fast, but he's a giant who runs a 4.67. That's a freak. I mean, Giovanni Claudio runs him. I get that, but that guy is not fair to compare. You know what I mean? That's the way I put it. So out of North Carolina, I'm thinking Eric Ebron could give Ben Schittelberger a nice booster. You know what I'm saying?
Right on. Nothing personal.
Nothing personal.
We just hate him.
We just don't like him at all. I don't like bumblebees.
Next up was Dallas.
Dallas. So we're looking at Aaron Donald, actually. He's on the defensive line. Dallas just got lost to Marcus Ware to Denver. No love for Denver either, honestly. Sorry, Dallas. It sucks, but, Denver does suck, too. So, Aaron Donald. We need to put some pressure on defense. You lost to Marcus Ware, the guy who's been carrying your team, doing sacks for so long. Let's get a defensive tackle who can just kill sacks. He's a 6'1", 288-pound man. Okay? This man falls on you, you don't get back up. And that's what they need on the defense. They need a little bit of bam. A little bit of bam factor, man. So I'm thinking Aaron Donald for number 16.
Right on. So up next, we got the Ravens.
The Ravens, yet again, another defensive team, but after losing Ray Lewis, it kind of just spiraled just a little bit downhill. So I'm thinking another defensive tackle. I'm thinking of Rashid Hagman. This year's got tons of defensive tackles. But this time, you're not going to believe this, man. The comparison between some of the other freak giants we got, 6'6", 315 pounds, or 318 pounds, actually. Right? This is the bam factor, though. 4.7640. That guy's getting off that line. Okay, you got another big offensive lineman in front of you. Say you even put like our biggest offensive line we were looking at like Taylor LeWarn. That's a 1-inch difference. He's still got about 3 pounds on him. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking they could just kill him,
what they're feeding these kids.
Yeah.
How are they getting that big?
They grew up on Krypton. They grew up on Krypton with Superman and his people.
They're freaks.
Yeah, definite freaks.
All right.
So we're then
the Jets.
The Jets, number 18, right? So then we're looking at, like I said, there's tons of wide receivers this offseason for this draft. We got Marquise Lee, 6 foot tall, 195 pounds, but the dude kills it in speed.
Yeah.
He was a definite playmaker in USC. He was 4.4940. What else can you say? The Jets could really use something like that. They don't have really many offensive weapons. They got Geno Smith they picked up last year. And he's going to make an impact, but he needs tools. He can't just be explosive without tools. Why not pick up a young tool that'll be there throughout his career? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. Start now. Start young.
All right, next up we got the Dolphins.
You've got Miami Dolphins. Yeah, so I'm thinking Zach Martin. They just got rid of a Martin, but this one's supposed to be a far more talented of the Martins. So we're kind of glad. I think all Miami fans could be like, thank God we got rid of the wuss over to San Francisco with Jim Harbaugh. So we got Zach Martin, the offensive tackle. He is 6'4". He's got 305 pounds. Slower than molasses, but man, if you're that big, the only thing you run after is Twinkies. That's it. There ain't no Twinkies in that football field. But he came out of Notre Dame, so he came out of a tough college. You can't complain about that.
Right on.
Not at all. Miami's not going to complain.
No,
they're going to be happy.
Next up we got Arizona.
Arizona. They're competing in a division that's really difficult. They do have to play the Raiders next year.
And the Seahawks. Nice.
And that's that. Nobody wants either of those. Nobody wants either of those. Unless your name's Denver, then you want to play both those teams. But you won't win. You won't win. So look at C.J. Mosley, inside linebacker. If you look at Arizona's defense, I'm thinking Patrick Peterson. That's all that comes to my mind is Patrick Peterson. I don't know your defensive line. I know my fair share of football. I don't know their defensive line. Linebacker core, they kind of hold their own, I guess, in that division. Not nearly as good as they should, like San Francisco and other teams like that. But they could definitely use like a big collar in the middle, something to lead that defense, And this guy really had that. He was the team captain on his college team as a sophomore.
It's impressive.
Yeah, that is pretty freakish. Let alone a 4.65 out of Alabama. We all saw Alabama last year.
Mm-hmm.
No questions asked.
All right, next up we got the Pack.
The Pack. So the Pack lost James Jones. He hasn't re-signed somewhere yet, but he's definitely been holding the weight in Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers needs tools. He's a freak quarterback, very accurate, very athletic, great guy. I'm thinking Odell Beckham Jr., wide receiver. He's not the tallest wide receiver we're looking at, but he's a definite playmaker. At the combine, they had little competitions at the combine where you kind of run off, do your little moves, and catch the ball. I didn't see he didn't even have to use his hands, both hands in his hand. He was catching with his face. I swear to God, he could do anything. this guy was a freak. So he's at 5'11", you're looking at 193 pounds, 40-yard dash at 4.49. That's pretty fast, but in the comparison to our other people today, not the fastest guy in the world. But he's gonna
catch everything. I don't care how fast you are.
Yeah, Steve Largent, Steve Smith had a job. Blitnikow had a job. Hall of Famer. So you can't go wrong with Odell Beckham Jr.
Right on.
At all. None whatsoever on that end. So, they're going to be happy about that. Everybody wants to pick up somebody nice and young.
So next up, we got Philadelphia.
Philadelphia's backfield is probably their weak spot. I mean, they got LaShawn McCoy. Just picked up that Nick Foles situation last year, which I think was a weird call. Kind of looks like a hippie boy to me, but hey, he can play football. He's got that long, goofy hair, probably waves in the air. He's probably going to get like a Suave commercial with take Paul Mahler's job with Head and Shoulders. We're looking at Calvin Pryor, 6'2", 208 pounds, super fast guy at Louisville. I mean, he's 4.57 for a safety of 6'2". I mean, come on. That guy's gonna get to the ball. We all saw how successful Earl Thomas is too. He's fast, he's lightning, so he hits you hard. Everybody sees the success with him and Cam Chancellor, so why not bring something to Philly to make that backfield just a little bit more intimidating, right up the middle? That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Philly was the one team last season I didn't want the Seahawks to play in the postseason.
I remember you saying that. Actually.
I'm glad we dodged that one.
Yeah,
we still would have beat them, but it would have been a little more of a challenge.
It would have been a good game. Good game, definitely. A lot better than the San Francisco game.
Next up, we got the Chiefs.
So we're looking at Kansas City, another team that I'm not hugely fond of. I mean, you guys are, if I say so, Marcus Allen thieves. But hey, whatever. That's life. That's the history. We got to make amends to the past. So we're looking at Louis Nix, another guy that at the Combine got great props for being, he's 5.17 40. Sounds kind of slow.
Right.
When you're looking at a man who's 345 pounds, at 6'2", 345 pounds, he makes Vince Wilfork look like he should be on a Jenny Craig commercial. I mean, this guy is huge, okay? This guy is B.J. Raji and Vince Wilfork. It's like if Vince Wilfork ate B.J. Raji. You're looking at the creation of Louis Nix. Nobody eats this man. Dinosaurs are intimidated by this figure. So why wouldn't your offense be? You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Okay, so next up, Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals, we're looking at another corner, and there's a deep draft of corners today, and it's Jerquise Denard. He's a quarterback. He's about 5'11", 197 pounds. I always say, under 200 pounds, you got to have some intangibles, right? And as a corner who can run a 4.52, I'd say that's an upside. It's an intangible. Even if you go 10 years from now, slowing down a little bit, who cares if you put on an extra 10? Whatever, it's still 4.62. That's amazing. This guy's going to be lightning all over that field. So, Cincinnati could definitely use a little bit more of an it factor, especially with Andy Dalton, quarterback. Yeah. Slightly sad. Very sad, actually. I lied. I was trying to be nice.
So next up, San Diego Chargers.
San Diego Chargers, another AFC West team. They have, I put it as Coney Ely coming at defensive end. He's about 6'5", 275. So he's a little bit lighter than a lot of the other guys we've seen at that height, but he's running a 4.77. Okay. 6'5", I don't care how much you weigh, 6'5". That's a 4.77.
He's going to be getting after that quarterback.
He's going to be just chasing it down. Ben Roethlisberger, you would have no way of getting away from this man. He's about your height, way faster than you. Yeah. Coming out of Missouri, too. There's a couple guys coming out of Missouri today.
Because we have to be fair, Cleveland gets a pick.
Cleveland does get a pick.
Who are they picking?
Probably going to waste it, but not if I chose your pick. If this pick was the pick you chose, you'd be a happy team. So, Jason Brett is another corner. He's 5'10". Okay, you're like, whoa, a little bit short there. Only 176 pounds. Great special teams return guy. He's got the dual factor.
There you go.
He's also very fast. Got 4.49. Came in at TCU. So he's got return special teams abilities. He can cover like anybody like Deshaun Jackson, which we all know how difficult that is for corners.
Yeah.
Probably not as much Megatron, but let's give this guy a shot. Let's see what he does. Probably one of the best corners coming out.
Right.
I kind of mix him up a little bit more to team needs. kind of thing. But he'll be great on special teams. Cleveland could use a little boost on that side of the ball as well.
Right on. So next up, New Orleans.
New Orleans. Brandon Cooks, another great wide receiver coming out this year. He would be 5'10", 186 pounds. You know, you can't go wrong with the guy that's coming out of, what is it, Oregon State? Beavers, man. It's close up to Washington, where we're our wonderful abode right now. Oregon State's a pretty good college. You got a couple good guys coming out this year as well. He's fast, 4.49. I mean, what else do you need to know? You know, one of those kind of deals.
Yeah, and he's got a world-class quarterback thrown to him.
New Orleans, yeah. If you went to New Orleans, you'd have Drew Brees. So you're not that height. Drew Brees understands about height problems, first off, but he overcame them. So why not have another guy to help him out?
That's right.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, next up, the Panthers.
Panthers. Okay, lost Steve Smith, and if you look at their roster right now, they just picked up a tight end who had 3 receptions last year. That's the most amount of receptions. Every other wide receiver on the team had 0 last season. A couple kick returns for a couple of those guys. No receptions being passed to by Cam Newton. So Cam Newton's in his house right now like, Josh, what should I have on my team? What should I be pushing my guys to get?
Listen up.
Why wouldn't you want Megatron? It's not Megatron himself, but 6'5", 235 pounds. His name's Kelvin Benjamin. Okay, beast. He's giant. Steve Smith, little guy. You're going to have to switch up your tempo a little bit, throw it a little higher.
Aim a little higher.
Aim a little higher, but he's also coming in at 4.5440 at 6'5". It's like Deshaun Jackson with Calvin Johnson with a little bit of Brandon Marshall Hands in there. Okay, Cam Newton, if you're watching this, which you probably are because we're awesome, but other than that, you're thinking, dude, why don't we pick this guy? Why don't we pick this guy at number 28? If he's still there at 28, which I'll be kind of amazed because there's a couple wide receivers we put in front of him, which I'm not saying they're more talented. I just feel like look at team needs.
Where they'd match up.
Where they'd match up best with the style of offense. You know, like in a couple different cases, you wouldn't want to put like a big guy there as much as other guys. So that's what I'm thinking for Carolina.
All right. Next up, we got the Patriots.
Make him do it. Patriots. We got another tight end to go with Rob Gronkowski. You know, a lot of people would think, well, they got the Gronk. Why would they need another tight end? Well, if I look back to Aaron Hernandez, when they had both those guys, there was no tight end problems at all. There was nothing whatsoever. This guy's coming in at 6'5". As a tight end, this got 260 pounds on this big boy. And this is the part where it's like, you're looking like this guy's a freak. He's giant. 4.67. 4.67, man. You can't beat that. I'm sorry. I don't care. Anybody says that is fast.
That is very
That is speed. He got this brick wall. If he needs to make a couple blocks, you guys have a hard time with your run game right now. You got Stephen Ridley still there, but LeGarrette Blount might be going out to some free agency stuff right now. So nice blocks. You can't go wrong with that. You really can't. I'm sorry. He's multi-talented. There's a lot of aspects to the team. And Gronk, sorry, he had a lot of injuries last season. You did. Nice replacement.
And the ugly side of the bay, San Francisco.
San Francisco. All right. Look at Stephon Tuitt. He's a 6'6", 212 pounder defensive end from Notre Dame. Yet again, Fighting Irish bringing a lot of pride into this draft. I mean, if you want an award for best players to go to the draft, I think Notre Dame would be pretty close to Clemson this year. Clemson has a couple guys kind of like Sammy Watts. Can't go wrong with that. So you're looking at, like I said, Stephon Tuitt, big guy, 4.92. He didn't even hit a 5 on the 40. So I mean, he's a little bit faster than expected. That's not really what he's bringing to the table, though. He's bringing freakish size. Yeah.
All right. Super Bowl loser, Denver.
Super Bowl loser, Denver. So Denver picked up a lot of freaky stuff in this offseason, in this free agency.
Yeah, where did they find out?
Where did they find the money?
Are they getting rid of Peyton Manning and not telling anybody?
See, that's what I'm thinking, because there's no way that money's coming up at all. He's worth not as much as all three of those players, but in money he is, but not in interest of anybody in the world whatsoever. So, I mean, you're looking at, you know, they got to keep Talib. Who's playing corner at the other side? Because the Raiders picked up Terrell Brown. Don't have Champ Bailey. Terrell Brown actually came from San Francisco. Quote that. Sorry. But Champ Bailey is who I was thinking of. They took Champ Bailey. He's gone. Quentin Jammer, gone. Cromartie, gone. Who's playing corner at the other side?
Right.
So why don't we throw Kyle Fuller in there? 6'1", 194 pounds. He's got the height. Runs a 4.4540. I mean, if he can't help Aqib Talib do his new mission on that team, let alone DeMarcus Ware, I mean, what else could I couldn't think of anybody else to help them maybe try to win a Super Bowl next time. Not if you play Seattle.
Maybe get a defense to begin with.
Yeah, not if you play Seattle, because then they'll score 42 points on you, I think it was, or was it 43? I don't remember.
43-8.
You're not supposed to let that happen. That's not supposed to happen. Especially at the Super Bowl. Embarrassing. Come on now.
All right. The champs.
The champs. We're looking at Seattle. So yeah, they picked up Michael Bennett. They got him back, right? They have a great defensive line, but I know these guys love to rotate. They love to rotate that defensive line to keep people fresh. So I'm looking at D Ford, one of my favorite defensive ends. That's a personal favorite because he doesn't got the weight, but he comes around that corner with speed, man. He's a 6'2", 243-pounder. Not as heavy as you think most defensive ends would. But I mean, Julius Peppers, he's not that heavy of a guy. He had a great couple seasons, man. You know, he's 4.67 on his 40. He brings out that versatility to switch it in, still get that speed around the corner. Maybe put him on the opposite side of Michael Bennett. I mean, Red Bryant's gone too soon. You can use a younger face to put in the rotation. You know what I mean? That's just, I'm just thinking multi-talents there, dude. It's filling a lot of needs.
Right on.
Bring him back to a Super Bowl. Even though I'm not a Seahawks fan, they did win the Super Bowl, so...
Pretty handily, too.
Yes, they did. It wasn't even a hard time. I laughed. There was a part when the center threw the ball over Peyton Manning's face. Peyton Manning's face was like...
Hey, by the way, I got the Blu-ray. We'll watch that after this.
We will watch that after this. It sounds hilarious.
For the 20th time.
Yes, it is beautiful.
All right. Now we're on to round 2.
Round 2 of the mock draft. Just as important as most drafts, a lot of times you go to round 2, you're thinking, all right, we're getting a little bit closer to not caring anymore.
Right.
Not the fact at all. I think, if not all 32 of these next 2 men coming out here could start, at least 29 or 30 of them. I mean, they're all starting quality players.
Right.
So the fact that they're still there, I mean...
Yeah. They're saying this is the deepest
draft in a long time. It is. And I mean, even watching their college videos, you don't even got to see combine numbers to know, like, okay, this is some serious business. I mean, even if you look at last year, the way that I heard some explanations was that if you look at last year, before the season was over in college ball, you start watching, like, their top prospects that they were thinking were coming out, and then even those best players got bumped down to a 4th round, but they're still starters.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot of underclassmen coming out this year, too. A lot of successful underclassmen.
Man.
A lot of success.
Something's going well in college ranks these days.
It is, man, because a lot of their coaches are coming to the NFL. There's a lot of new faces. You know what I mean?
Right on. Okay, so the first pick, we got Houston.
Houston, you guys kind of tanked last year. Just kind of a lot.
Yep.
Like, you got J.J. Watt. I mean, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking Bradley Roby, cornerback. He comes in at 5'11", 192 pounds. I mean, he runs a 4.39. A 4.39. You know how fast that is? I mean, there's very few people that could say they could boast a 4.39. Very few. If any, I've never met somebody that can. I've never met a single person in my life that can. He's coming out of Ohio State, prior nosing, probably. I mean, probably close friend. So I gotta like the guy. He's gotta go to Houston. He's gotta bring that backfield to a whole nother level. And if they're bringing in who I was talking about in the first round, Blake Bortles, they need to go in second round on some defense. So you still got Andre Johnson. He's getting a little old, so you got a wide receiver. You really don't got to worry about that yet. Let alone the fact that I can't think of that number 2 wide receiver, though. Can't seem to think of Houston's number 2. But it can't be too bad. I mean, you got Andre Johnson to start with. So I'm thinking Bradley Roby.
Right on. Okay, next up we got D.C.
Washington, D.C., the Redskins. All right, so they got their defense. London Fletcher retired. That's what I've heard through the grapevine. So they need another linebacker, right? You know, you're thinking they need somebody to replace the great London Fletcher. Another Ohio State guy, like
if
I
that's
said.
possible.
If it's possible. London Fletcher was phenomenal. One of my top favorites, no doubt. But Ryan Shazier, outside linebacker, 6'2", 230 pounds, 4.58. Another guy at Ohio, man. They're gonna have a threesome here, man. Threesome. Who doesn't love those? You know what I mean? It's coming in crazy. But Ryan Shazier, man, I think he could really boost that defense a little bit. Because they got a new starting job there, and I didn't see any real movement in the free agency for the Redskins.
Yeah.
I just saw losses.
Yeah, it's been
I didn't
really
see
quiet.
anything. You know what I mean?
Maybe that has to do with the coach change and.
Yeah, they're probably trying to get their shoes on right, figure out if they like their Nikes, wearing Jordans or Air Force Ones. They don't know. Make sure the jersey
Could
fits.
Yeah. So you've got another Ohio State kid going to Cleveland.
I'm looking at Carlos Hyde. They traded Trent Richardson last year. Big shock for a lot of people at the beginning of the season. Lots of Cleveland fans thought they were just throwing away the year. You know what I mean? Like, this is no deal. We just need to get rid of this guy. We got a good pick for it. Why not? You know what I mean? So I'm taking Carlos Hyde. He's running back. Comes in at 6 foot, 235 pounds. Runs a 4.62. Got like a Michael Turner with wheels, though. It's like Michael Turner with wheels. Michael Turner was a bowling ball, but this guy can move.
Yep. I do not miss Michael Turner.
Nobody does.
That guy.
He had great success in San Diego and then went to Atlanta, and then Steven Jackson tried to take over the reins. And if Steven Jackson has a hard time taking over your reins, that says something.
Yep.
Steven Jackson's phenomenal.
All right, next up, you got the Raiders.
We're looking at the wonderful Raiders, silver and black. I'm thinking Derek Carr.
Picking another quarterback.
Lots of speculation. It's the first quarterback for him. They picked Sammy Watkins in the first round. Sammy Watkins.
That's right.
So we're thinking Sammy Watkins and Derek Carr. So if you want a guy to be able to be groomed into the NFL, get a guy like Sammy Watkins to help him out. People got a lot of speculation because Derek Carr's brother kind of sucked. You know, he kind of cave bombed. But this guy comes in at 6'2", 215. At Fresno State, that's not too bad of a school to play against other teams. I mean, he's got 4.78 40. I mean, that's nothing phenom, but I mean, he's a big boy with a good arm. And if we can say Watkins is a great receiver to throw to, man. I mean, there's lots of good quarterbacks in this draft. So if we get both those guys, we picked up Lamar Woodley, Justin Tuck. Our defense is just getting boosted with Antonio Smith. I mean, we really don't need to go defense first 2 picks. We just picked up some really quality defensive players.
Yep.
Let alone we got a lot of rookies coming out. Like, not rookies, but second-year guys.
And your defense was pretty sound last year.
It was. It wasn't the one that was strong. That offense, getting that oomph factor to keep up with the defense's success. Like, we'd get stopped at the 40. We couldn't turn it around. You got to have somebody like, say, Watkins. Let's just bomb it.
Yep.
Or let's get a curl in there. Let's just move these first downs.
Yep.
We need somebody to take the weight off Jeremy Fadden this season, too. That's really important. See if that makes a difference. Little Mr. Glassbones. Love you, Glassbones. Yeah.
All right, Rams got the next pick.
Xavier Suafilu, offensive guard, 6'3", 305 pounds. Slower than snot, but you really don't got to be that fast at guard, especially.
You're running for distance.
Exactly. You're just blocking a hole, man. You're building a wall. Like, you need to cut the bricks and make some big, solid foundation. This guy's definitely got that at 305. Although he's got a goofy name, but, you know, hey, props to you, dude. That's a cool name. I don't know where it's from, but it's cool. So when I say slow, though, he came in at a 5.18 on his 40. Which, I mean, that's not incredible, but...
Yeah.
Is it
He's not running anything for touchdowns.
Yeah, is it expected to be, though? I mean, really? I don't know, man. I think that'll help St. Louis out a ton. I mean, I'm trying to remember what we picked for St. Louis in the first round. We had St. Louis getting... Hold on a mighty second here. St. Louis, come on. Where's it at? Giovanni Clowney.
Right.
Let's beef up that defense. Let alone they had. Didn't they already have a pick for this round as well? I think it came in at number...
They had a second one in the first round.
They had the second one in the first round, but then they also had... Yeah, I was like, okay, I thought they had another one in there somewhere, but no, they did not. It's number 37. So yeah, they get a little offensive guard, another big boy like Giovanni Clowney. Not as fast as Giovanni, but not very many people in the world are going to be. I mean, that's just an honest opinion. Giovanni, when he came into the combine, people saw that guy run his 40. I'm pretty sure like 90% of them had flies coming into their mouth, but they're sitting there what?
Yeah.
We resized this guy? He's huge.
Yep.
Almost came out of his shoes. I mean, he's a freakish guy.
All right, next up, you got the Bucks.
Got the Bucks. Another one of my favorite receivers, and I know he's coming at number 38 in my draft right now. Definitely possibly could be picked before that. There's a lot of guys that could use his talent coming in at 6'4", 200 pounds, and a 4.38 40. That's 6'4". What are they doing to these people, man? I mean, I don't understand what they're doing to make these guys go crazy, let alone he's also the brother of the guy, Sammy Watkins, both coming out of Clemson, and they're bros. They went to the same college together, played together underneath Tosh Boyd. I mean, there's a lot of Clemson talent coming out. There's a lot of talent coming from clusters of teams.
Right.
We saw Ohio State had 3 in a row. Clemson's got 2 great wideouts and a pretty decent quarterback. I mean, if the Raiders didn't take Sam Watts, I would even take Martavis Bryant even possibly at number 5. I mean, he's got it. It's a needs thing. The Raiders need explosiveness.
Right.
Definitely.
All right, next up you got the Jaguars.
All right, so we're looking at Kadeem Carey, running back. He's coming out of Arizona. Not as much of a flashy school. They're still pretty good. He's 5'11", 207 pounds, for 4.53. So you're looking at more of a Ray Rice kind of guy. Mumbling my words there. Ray Rice kind of speed. Hopefully a little bit more durable than Ray Rice, because Jacksonville just gave him Maurice Jones-Drew, and at the end of his career, we all know that he was not that durable. I mean, what happened to Mighty Mouse? You know what I'm saying? What happened to Mighty Mouse? I don't know. So let's hope Kadeem Carey brings a little bit more flair to Jacksonville's salty offense, we could say. I don't know. What would you say about Jacksonville's offense? What did they not have?
They technically have an offense. They have a great defense now after absorbing
half of Seattle. It's true. But offensively, they ditched half their offense this year. Maurice Jones-Drew, Blaine Gabbert, they got rid of their 2 biggest positions. Let alone they got Cecil Shorts, I think, catching the ball. He had a decent year. You just gotta give him some tools, or he's gonna be crying for a new contract or somebody else.
I don't know what to think. I mean, Gus Bradley, he's a defensive guy.
He is, so he's beefing up that deep, but he really needs to not forget. He needs to not forget that your quarterback and running back are actually the 2 people that score your touchdowns besides a wide receiver.
Maybe they got a great kicker. They're just gonna
do the Janikowski thing.
Field goal.
Do the Janikowski session where they can just boot it from the 50 every single play of the game. I mean, it works. Raiders fans, we know this.
You do what works. You do what works.
We won 4 games a season on that crap. Different quarterback every year. We can do it.
Right on. Next up, we got the Vikings.
Minnesota Vikings, a cluster of problems, and if Adrian Peterson was watching this today, he's saying, give me a quarterback that doesn't suck. It's all he's thinking is, man, I've gone through a few shared quarterbacks. I mean, I think, did AP play with Brett Favre at some point? Didn't he? Was it? No, he's too young for that.
I don't think so.
He's too young for that. He wishes he did. He wishes he did.
But
Jimmy, that's what I'm trying to think, man. That's a solid question.
I don't know.
We'll have to look that up. We'll get back to that in one of our other sessions. Jimmy Garoppolo going to Minnesota. 6'2", 219. Not the fastest boy, coming out of a smaller school. That's why he's going to the second round, not the first, coming out of Eastern Illinois. But, I think he's got the arm. Let alone, he's got a little bit enough of intimidation at 6'2" to kind of pull a little tension off Adrian Peterson or AD all day. I mean, because he does everything all day. But I think Jimmy Garoppolo might bring a little bit of flair to that team.
Right on.
Might be their signal caller for the next couple of years.
Okay. Next up, we got Buffalo.
Another tight end coming out this year. Like I said, Buffalo, I picked out a good couple picks in the first round. We got another guy coming out of Notre Dame, though. How many times have I said that? I mean, honestly, Notre Dame is killing it, man. They had a great season last year, too, in college ball, though. But you're looking at 6'6", Troy Nicholas, coming in at 270. Godzilla. I mean, Tokyo, beware.
Big tight ends we're talking about.
Tokyo, beware. I mean, honestly, you got Troy Nicholas. Might as well call him Godzilla. He'll tear your whole city to pieces. But, 4.8, 440 as well. Not bad. I can definitely see why Notre Dame played very well last year. They were pretty good at moving the ball. Usually they're known for their defense, but Troy Nicholas is giant. He's a freak. I mean, there's no other way to describe a man who's 6'6", 270, and still running at 5.040. Freak. That's it. That's the only thing I can think of. And if he can't help you beef up that Buffalo game with E.J. Manuel can use the safety blanket, man. He's a kid in a beatable position. He needs a blanket to curl himself up in and feel safe. I'm thinking Troy Nicholas is the guy.
Right on. Next up, Titans.
Tennessee Titans. Marcus Robinson. He's a cornerback. Runs a 4.52. Like we said, Tennessee's got a plethora of problems this season. You're a plethora of problems. So we're looking at a 6 foot tall, 195 pounder. He's one of the most favorited corners coming out of this draft, just because he brings that the pro styled corner system. He's fast, but he could stick to that guy, and he's scheme versatile. He can fit in cover schemes. He can do zone defense. He can do man to man, and he's got all the tools he'll need. So I mean, you can't say Tennessee wouldn't be happy with a nice guy block up in front. Which, I mean, who do we have for Tennessee in the first round? I mean, I'm trying to remember. I wish I could remember this stuff right off the top of my head. Mike Evans. Yeah, they got offense. So they need a little bit of flair on offense. Let's throw some flares both way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They need a little bit of something for both because neither of the sides are doing really, prolific last year. I don't know what their ending season stat was, but if they came in at number, 12 in the first round? I think it was 12. Yeah, it was 12. Yeah, no, 11. 11. So, I mean, couldn't have been that great. They ended on the lower side of the 32 picks. So let's get you guys a guy out there to play some backfield. I mean, Marcus Robinson, he can't complain. He looked great. Especially in the cornerback drills in the combine, where they had a little game where you'd run out and you'd catch the ball. There'd be two corners, two teams, full of teams. Drop it, it's a point, kind of go back and forth. They tied. Both teams tied.
Wow.
It's a great cornerback system this year. I think they only had 3 drops per team out of 15 passes.
Not bad.
But those are you run different routes. You run slants out and in, and then you got to look back over your shoulder. Tons of different stuff. And there's only 3 drops total per team.
Pretty good.
It's pretty crazy.
All right, Giants.
The Giants, yet again, plethora of problems. Oakland, we swooped up Justin Tuck. You need to fill that gap.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big gap. Justin Tuck's been there for a while, carrying the weight of that defense, which is below average. I mean, they got John Beeson, I think is the New York guy, right? John Beeson, he just got re-signed in New York. So Scott Crichton, defensive end, he's 6'3", 265. I mean, he runs a 4.65 40, coming out of Oregon as well. Beavers. I told you there's another guy coming out from Beavers. But, I mean, can't go wrong with that. Big guy to get your defensive end filled. He's really good in the run scheme. You can tell from his size. You can just get stopping runs. I mean, he can block the whole side. You got to go 5 yards out to the left to get around this guy.
Right.
So, I mean, he's going to make a little bit more help to that Giants defense, which I think they have it. And like they said, they wouldn't re-sign Justin Tuck for a decent amount of money because they thought of his age. So what is wrong with that? That's a youthful guy.
Yeah.
Big boy, youth. He's going to be putting up a lot of sacks, I think.
Yep.
I think a lot of sacks, especially in his division. Lots of sacks.
NFC least.
Yeah, least.
St. Louis Rams.
St. Louis Rams. We got another pick for the St. Louis Rams. I knew there was one coming up. I knew I was looking at St. Louis for the Suafilu. But then we got a wide receiver this time, Jordan Matthews, 6'3", 209, runs a 4.55. Coming out of Vanderbilt, that's what kind of hurt his draft stock a little bit. Vanderbilt, not really a high-achieving team. But he's a great player. You can tell from just watching his tapes. I mean, combine stats, great stuff, man. So I think he's really going to bring a little bit more flair to St. Louis. Let alone I think they still got not Stafford, but Sam Bradford. He's still throwing under center there, I think.
Yep.
He needs the tools. Stats not beautiful at all. But yeah, I think it's Jordan Matthews.
All right. Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions. So we already picked up, they got Golden Tate. We talked about beefing up the defense a little bit in the first round there. So I'm thinking Jimmy Ward. 5 foot 11 inches. And then I think, what did we pick for them the first one? Detroit had a... Wish I had this all stuck in my brain, but I don't. Not that talented yet. One day. I passed it. Nope. Yeah, Mike Evans. No, not Mike Evans. That was a different team. Anthony Barr, defensive end. Sorry about that. That's the front end of the backfield of the defensive side. So I was thinking a safety this time around might not be a bad mix-up. You know what I mean? Because they could get a little more strength in the back, work a little bit more in the linebacking core in St. Louis. Or, so it shouldn't be too bad. But, I mean, they could pick themselves up. Not St. Louis, Detroit. Fumbling for the words. Detroit.
All right.
Yeah, coming out of Northern Illinois as well. 4.5, 940.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
So for Pittsburgh's second pick.
Troy Relly. We got Lamar Woodley from them. What do you think they're going to need? Big outside linebacker. Coming in at 6'5", 255 pounds with a 4.67 40. Huge people coming out of this draft.
That's a scary linebacker.
That's a scary dude. That's a Brian Urlacher all over again, man. You got your freak athlete, speed. He's coming out of Utah. I mean, he's got a lot of smart knowledge coming out of that school, man. So, I mean, I can't really go wrong with a guy like that. And if they need to fill some gaps, especially with that elderly squad they have going on in Pittsburgh, that'd be a way to bring a big boy like that in.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
All right. Cowboys.
Cowboys. Multiple problems besides Tony Romo. Definitely a problem maker. Like I said, though, I would like to point out we are X's and O's. We do love football beyond anything else. We love our teams, but football comes first. So when we judge you, you're just not playing that way. You gotta put your big boy pants on. It's not like we're just team specific. You gotta put your big boy pants on.
Yeah.
Tony
Accept it.
Tony Romo never had a big boy pants on in his life. In college, didn't even look that great. So I'm looking at LaMarcus Joyner, cornerback, 5'8", not that tall at all, right? Great nickel. We already noticed that from college, but I think he's got the flash. 4.52. He's got the return ability. Literally came out of Florida State. A lot of good guys came out of Florida State, so the reason he played a nickel I don't really think was due to his height, even though he's 5'8". I mean, that's not really that big. Probably about 2 inches bigger than me, and I'm short. But he's got the speed, man.
Right.
He's got the moves. It doesn't matter if you're 190 pounds and you're flying at 4.52 speed. When that hits you, that sucks. That sucks, man. That is not a fun day.
Yeah.
Ed Reed made a career after smashing those faces in. Thinking Marcus Joyner might be able to do the same thing.
All right.
Alrighty.
Ravens.
Ray Rice. Problem. Big problem. So I'm thinking Trey Mason, running back out of Auburn. Lots of good Auburn tools this year as well. He's coming in at 5'9", kind of short. You guys liked Ray Rice, so you can't complain too much about 5'9". I think he's taller than Ray Rice. And 205 pounds.
That's a lot of weight close to the ground.
Yeah, 205 pounds.
Yep.
I mean, he's coming in at 4.48, 42.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's moving it. He's moving it. I mean, he's a little bit of, like, in my opinion, if you had to put somebody out there, think kind of like Alfred Morris. You know what I mean? He's got a little bit of the speed still, but tank. And the guy's got muscle.
Wow.
So I'm thinking, like, yeah, definitely a little bit Alfred Morris syndrome on his side. Baltimore needs that boost.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco's way overpaid, so they're not getting it in the free agency. They're not making any trades because they can't pay people enough. So let's get Trey Mason, a young guy that you really don't got to pay that much to play some good stuff for you guys.
Right on. All right, welcome back. So with the next pick, we got New York Jets.
Coming in number 49, we have Marcus Smith going to the Jets. Definitely a weak defense, if I say so myself, after losing the whole Revis situation. So, a little bit of pressure might make the corners pop a little more. Marcus Smith's coming in at 6'4", 258 pounds, not 80. 40-yard dash was 4.76, coming out of Louisville, too. So, I mean, he can't be too bad. Louisville's kind of a weaker conference. Not enough to really impact their abilities, I don't believe.
Right.
So I think Marcus Smith might be their guy.
Okay.
I think Marcus Smith might be their guy, definitely.
How about Miami?
Miami. So we know, as in my last part, about the next Martin they're picking up. I was just talking about Martin, another offensive lineman.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, might as well beef it up. Let's just beef up that O-line. Let's give Ryan Tannehill a chance to make some starting moves here. So I'm thinking Travis Swanson, center. Coming in at 6'5".
Right.
310 pounds. I mean, he's a big boy, but he's also yet again slow, 5.26.
Right, you don't exactly see a bunch of
you know, as long as he's got a loud
centers
voice.
running down the field.
As long as he's got a loud voice, you know, he's good.
Yep.
And something like that, the Pittsburgh game, when you saw that big center chase down the defensive tackle that went for that touchdown in the Super Bowl against Arizona, remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, that's funny, because the closest guy was like the fattest guy on the field. It was pretty funny. So I think Travis Swanson, he came out of Arkansas, so I mean, he's got to play with a good, really big, heavy run-schemed team. I mean, Arkansas, they had Darren McFadden.
Right.
The Razorbacks, I mean, they tore it up.
Yep.
They were a run game, definitely. They played all run.
All right.
No questions asked.
Next up, we got Chicago.
And Chicago, tons of problems in Chicago. I mean, Jay Cutler, not to be rude, man, but I don't really think you're that talented. Not trying to be rude. A lot of Chicago fans may think Jay Cutler's the biz. You just lost Josh McCown. Jay Cutler hasn't played a full season in like 3 years.
Right.
So you're going to need, what? More offensive linemen to help out whoever this quarterback you bring in, right? I mean, maybe they bring in a young rookie quarterback at some point. Who knows? Or maybe they pick up like a Mark Sanchez or something of the sort. But Antonio Richardson is an offensive tackle coming in at 6'6", 327 pounds. Believe it or not, bigger than the last guy, but faster than our center we were talking about. Crazy. So I mean, this guy, he's a big boy, 5.16 on the 40-yard dash, coming out of Tennessee. I don't know much about Tennessee, but I mean, this guy plays good. He plays good football. I mean, obviously. Definitely a starting material, too, as well. So, you know, I can't think of much guys. You think of Chicago's offensive line, who comes to your mind? Absolutely nobody.
Yep.
Nobody important. So, let's make somebody be important. Let's put Antonio Richardson there. Let's make him important, man. Make this guy be your anchor on your line. That's where I'm coming out with that one, I'm thinking.
All right.
Definitely. One of their millions of needs.
It's amazing you can have a million needs on a 53 man.
Exactly, but if they create needs, is what I'm thinking. You know, like, in fact, they need to wear makeup because their faces are all black and blue. Not very many football teams have that problem.
There you go. All right, next up we got Arizona.
We got Arizona. So they got Larry Fitzgerald, you know, quality receiver, tons of leadership ability. I mean, people that, like, he's old, don't get me wrong, he's kind of fading off a little bit, still got that leadership mentality, though. So why not bring in a young wide receiver where you still have Larry Fitzgerald? And Jarvis Landry fits that spot. I mean, he's a fast guy at 4.49. He's a wide receiver, 6 foot tall, 195 pounds, playing at LSU, right? Big passing in college. LSU definitely goes for a lot of screen passes and stuff of that sort. So I'm thinking, you know, why not have him have the perfect mentor? Like, if you could pick any mentor as a wide receiver, who would you think?
Larry.
He's got all of it. He's not a dick. He's not a Chad Ochocinco.
Yep.
He's not there for the bank, obviously. He just restructured his contract.
He's a team player.
He's a team player. So why not have him there and not wait till, oh, Larry Fitzgerald just left, he's too old, he retired. Then bring a guy in who has no training experience. Bring Jarvis Landry, man.
Good idea.
Make some moves. Who else is at number 2? Who's the number 2 in Arizona? Different guy every year, so we get to know the name.
Yeah. Yeah, ever since Anquan Bolden left.
Exactly.
With Bolden and Fitzgerald, it was Yep.
What's happening?
All right, Green Bay.
Green Bay. Greg Jennings, gone. Playing for Minnesota right now.
Yep.
Just lost James Jones to Silver and Black. Beautiful team. So what are they going to throw to besides Randall Cobb? I mean, who else do they really got for the... You know, Aaron Rodgers is elite. Okay, he's an elite quarterback. So any receiver would love to go to Green Bay.
Sure.
Would love to. So I'm thinking Devontae Adams comes in at 6'4". No, 6'2" actually. Sorry to quote that. 216 pounds. He's a big dude.
Yeah.
If he can catch the ball from Derek Carr in Fresno State, where he came from, he's gonna. It's a wet dream to him. Go play for Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he wakes up and his satin sheets are silky smooth with moisture every morning.
Next subject.
Every morning. I'm just saying, man. I mean, if you're a wide receiver, you're thinking Aaron Rodgers, not so much Peyton Manning just because he's a D-bag. Tom Brady, kind of a sissy girl. Aaron Rodgers got all the qualities that they don't have.
Yep.
And he's talented. And he learned from Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Wet frickin' dream, dude.
All right.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to delete that mental image. Philadelphia's up next.
Philadelphia, another team that's got a few problems. They kind of picked it up really big at the end of the season last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they made that playoff run.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they gutted it. There was a lot of teams going for that playoff run. I mean, Kansas City and San Diego, they're all up in there. When 3 guys of the AFC West came in, they played great. They had LaShawn McCoy. Nick Foles kind of peaked off, too. Yeah. So, I mean, Nick Foles has got it. Jeez. So, if you're thinking their offense is on, like, the full moves right now, let alone who they just pick up, Darren Sproles.
Right.
Right? So you don't need to worry about their offense, man. They got Deshaun Jackson, who they're talking about trading, I heard today. They're offering... a 3rd-round pick is all it would take for Deshaun Jackson. 3rd round pick.
Wow.
That's tremendous. He rubbed some people the wrong way, is what I've heard. So that's another subject, but still an interesting one to think about. We'll see where that goes. But I'm thinking, let's just beef up that D a little bit, because they don't got a lot of like outstanding defensive players. So Talvin Smith can bring that. He's an outside linebacker, coming at 6'3", 218 pounds. He's running at 4.6040. Came out of Florida State. I mean, nothing bad about Florida State at all.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, at the same time, man, let's beef up the D. The offense is on full circuit, just speed, balling, kicking butt on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Let's boost up where the weaknesses are. Let's just get us a new linebacker in there, man.
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking. Deshaun Jackson is looking for new space, though.
All right, next up we got the Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals, okay. What can you think about Cincinnati? They just lost Michael Johnson. Okay. It's a little defensive end.
An average quarterback.
An average quarterback who fails when it matters. Again,
can't get it done in the end.
Can't.
That's my summary for the Bengals.
My summary for Andy Dalton, period, is premature ejaculation. He can't make it to the big show because he can't last that long. I'm not gay. That's a true fact. That's just a true fact. So let's bring in a safety.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Put some fear into those guys. We've seen what Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor did this year.
Yeah.
Put some fear into people. Cam Chancellor knocked Demaryius Thomas's head off like 5 million times.
Yes, it did.
Okay? And that made a huge difference. They stopped the number one offense this season. Cincinnati could use that. They've always been a defensive team, but who's rocking safety in Cincinnati? I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
I can't. There's been too many moves in free agency for me to really pick out what's going on here. But Ed Reynolds, man, 6'2", 206 pounds. That was a 4.5440. That's a bowling ball flying at your face. Beautiful.
All right.
Beautiful. Coming out of Stanford, too, so he's a smart guy. See if he has that Richard Sherman cockiness.
All right, next up we got San Francisco, and I'm not happy about your pick on that one.
You're not, but hey, you know what? It's got to be done, man. We got to come in here with that real, honest opinion. And Frank Gore, getting old, bro. Getting real old, man.
He's an old man.
Coming out of Washington, Bishop Shanky, man. Or Sankey. Sankey. I call him Shanky for some reason.
I don't know.
If you're going to San Francisco, you learn how to shake people anyway, right? I mean, it's a thing you got to pick up. It's part of the town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So coming in at 5'10", 203 pounds. He's got a decent amount of weight on him. Coming at 4.4940. He's out of Washington, so there's might be a little bit of tension there. But that boosts the Seattle Rockford, I think. I think that brings it to a little bit higher level. If you think about that.
Yeah.
People get bitter when coaches go to different teams. Why would you be bitter if your professional halfback at your college went to another state, little in the state you hate?
Yeah.
I could see a little bit of tension there.
Yep.
I mean, picture his first TD if he went to San Francisco. If San Francisco can score a touchdown. That's another question. Oh, in itself.
Yep.
Not on the Raiders this season.
I love him, but he's going to look really bad in that jersey.
Everybody does. One guy pulled it off with Jay Rice.
Yeah.
Because he's awesome.
Yep. All right, next up, San Diego.
San Diego. I'm thinking Will Sutton. Okay. Yet again. Shit. We don't have his position. That's the guy that did his position.
Dear Will Sutton, we don't know what position you play, but we're impressed nonetheless.
Yes, we are. Coming in at 6'1", 315 pounds. I'm guessing you probably play somewhere on the O-line. Pretty intense. Don't think we didn't do our homework because we did. Just didn't work out right. Great player though, man. Definitely proud of you. Coming out of Arizona State. I got your 40 time. Can't say I didn't do my homework. 4.79. Pretty
for a 315 pounder.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean that's freakish. If I say so myself. Maybe that's why I didn't know your position, man. Because I was just so blown away. I was trying to find you. You were running so fast.
If in doubt, Google Will Sutton.
Yes.
All right. Next up, New Orleans.
New Orleans. What are you thinking of the New Orleans team? What do you think? What do you think New Orleans?
I think great quarterback, prima donna receivers.
Or tight ends.
Yes.
The question is, Jimmy Graham, is your end really tight? Don't think so anymore. Not at all.
Now after 2 trips to Seattle, nope.
Not anymore, dude.
You can't handle that Seattle D.
You got Fubard. You know what that means?
Mm-hmm.
Bad words, man. Bad words. But Luchese Purifoy. I think that's how you pronounce it. Don't mean to massacre your name. It's a cool name, definitely.
Sounds like New Orleans.
Sounds like it, right?
It's got that French.
It's got that French, I can't pronounce it, but it sounds fancy on paper. You know what I mean? So 6 foot tall, 190 pounds, not that heavy of a guy, quicker than lightning.
Yeah.
Quicker than lightning. 4.47. That's lightning, man.
Yep.
That's heat. So if you got Drew Brees and your offense firing on all cylinders besides the tight end cylinders, besides that, you need to get that defense up, man. Mm-hmm. You got to give the defense an ability to turn that ball back over to Drew Brees. He's got accuracy, man. Yeah. Let him take that offense and mold it.
Yep.
But give him some tools and D. That's what I'm thinking. Definitely thinking that.
All right, next up, we got Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Another team, secondary, definitely debatable. Definitely debatable. I mean, when you watch a Indianapolis game, you're not sitting there thinking, man, that secondary tore this game to pieces. Mm-hmm. You're thinking, man, Andrew Luck's face looks weird.
He's very caveman.
He's very cavemanish, man. He's good. Look into the Geico commercials, man. You could definitely be a good Geico guy when you retire. Definitely. Definitely, man. But I'm thinking Victor Hampton, quarterback coming in at 5'10", 202 pounds, 4.5, 240, coming out of South Carolina. Mm. I mean, if you can't beat with your backfield, I don't know where to look.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of quality guys, and this guy's going to be a starter. He's going to be a starter, no doubt about it. I think he's going to be a quality guy.
Yep.
No questions asked on that one, man.
All right. Next up, we got the Panthers.
So you got the Carolina Panthers. I'm thinking Bashaud Breeland. You know, not from the Lord of the Rings world of Middle Earth, for the fact, but he's a great cornerback. Mm-hmm. Definitely 6 foot tall, 185 pounds. Like I said, these guys are lightning. 4.52, same time as Victor Hampton. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're watching each other and sitting here thinking, why do you pick him over me? He's faster than me. No, you're the same speed, bro. You're both the same speed.
Yep.
Coming out of Clemson, too, so he had to practice with guys like Sammy Watkins and Martavis Bryant. Mm-hmm. So, this guy can cover. There's no way he's starting another team if practice when he shows up is not beating him out sometimes.
Right.
I mean, look at that, dude. Yep. Definitely look at that. I mean, that's some quality stuff. And Cam Newton's doing it all right down there. But also, going to need some wide receivers there. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's just another thought. Steve Smith's gone. Best receptions you guys, I think it's like either 3 or 5 for a tight end you just picked up. Mm-hmm. None of your wide receivers have caught the ball. I mean, that's a problem. Cam Newton's sitting there thinking, why are you telling him to throw some more guys than D, Josh? Because there's no free agent wide receivers, man. None. Mm-hmm. Yep. James Jones is on the Raiders.
All right, San Francisco with the next pick.
All right, San Francisco's got another pick. Okay, we went halfback on that last pick. Right. So I'm thinking let's add some depth in the long stretch. You know what I mean? You got that good running back, that quality running back to make them think, hey, let's put some more guys in the line. Mm-hmm. It's not Frank Gore. So I'm thinking Dante Moncrief. He's a wide receiver, 6 foot 2 inches, 226 pounds, 4.4940. Let's give Colin Kaepernick some tools that might make him look talented. Because a mediocre receiver like Michael Crabtree is obviously not doing that.
Yep.
This guy's not mediocre, man.
Yep.
Not mediocre at all. Definitely not.
All right. Next pick is New England.
New England. When you think about New England, yet again, Tom Brady. Right? They just lost LeGarrette Blount.
Yep.
You got Stephen Ridley, who's only a transitional running back. He can't carry all the weight on his own shoulders.
Yeah.
I mean, he's good. He has his flares of ability. There's no questions asked about that. But I'm thinking Devontae Freeman. Okay, Briggs a little bit different, Stephen Ridley's more of like that. Let's power that in the middle, a little bit of finesse. This guy's 5'8", 203 pounds. He's got enough weight on him, kind of short, but a 4.5, 240. This guy might bring that edge threat a little bit, so not just bunching up in the middle, keeping a spy there for your halfback, So bring up a little bit of flair there. Can't be too bad at screen passes coming in at 5'8". You got to have some other qualities too. A little bit fast. Got some kick return potential at 4.52 turn time. It's not bad at all.
Yep.
It's not bad at all. So I think he'd bring a little bit more dynamic to the New England Patriots, who picked up some good guys like Revis, so we don't really need to worry as much about the defense.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Sounds good.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Denver.
Tons of problems. Von Miller, quality guy. Can't stay out the drugs, man.
Yep.
So what are we thinking? I'm thinking outside linebacker. You know what I mean? Nice outside linebacker to complement DeMarcus Ware when he's getting pissed off because Von Miller's not home in Denver. He's off doing something crazy as usual. So Jeremiah Atachu, the outside linebacker, coming at 6'3", 252 pounds. Big boy definitely, especially for outside linebacker. It's pretty big. Runs a 4.6840. Can't complain about that. It's pretty quick. I mean, I'm thinking this would be the guy to boost that defense up a little bit. You spend a bunch of money in free agency. This is a rookie contract. You really don't got to worry about how much you're paying this guy. Give him a chance to shine when he's got all these other tools around him. We're only going to be there for just a little bit. Keith Tilley hopefully will stay with you guys because your secondary is kind of a joke.
Yep.
Kind of very much so. But I mean, you guys did make it to the Super Bowl last year, so maybe if you think in the Denver world, whoever's sitting there thinking, hey, I'm a Denver fan, think maybe just boost up that defense a little bit more, and 43 to 8 just might not happen. Just saying.
Speaking of 43 to 8, last pick, Seattle.
Last pick. So, they did score 43 points in the Super Bowl for the record. So, they can't be too bad of an offense. They're more of a run-schemed offense.
Sure.
So I'm thinking maybe a guy to spread the field a little bit. You know what I mean? So you can just do the long streaks, play on the outside. He's got Percy Harvin. If he stays healthy, God granted. That's what people want. So I'm thinking maybe Allen Robinson. 6'3", 210, 4.5, 440. He's got the height to get downfield, still be able to make those Calvin Johnson-style catches, but the speed to break away from the coverage.
Yeah.
And that's what they need. Because then, if you got this guy spread it out, you're going to pull that secondary just a little bit farther back, give Marshawn Lynch a lot less bodies to run through. Yeah. And we know he can run through plenty of bodies.
He can run through bodies all day long.
He can. So if we give him less, imagine the capabilities of the man.
There you go.
Right?
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking. Get Percy Harvin somebody that can make those punishing over-the-middle catches probably too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another big thing they need. Because Percy Harvin can do a lot of those stretch-out catches too. But you need a guy that can take those punishing hits. And I'm saying, New Orleans, if you come at this guy, he's going to rip your face off. He's going to grab your face and just destroy it. So don't try to hurt this guy, because he will kill you.
Yep.
He will. He'll murder you. He's 6'3", 210. This guy's stacked.
I like it. Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me, man. Definitely. Definitely sounds good.
All right, so there you go. You got the first 2 rounds. World's best mock draft, I think.
I think so, too. You want to know why? Because there's plenty of guys that do mock drafts.
Yep.
But neither of these faces are in those mock drafts.
That's right.
It's true, man. We bring the heat.
You gotta love it.
You gotta love it, man. Great facial hair in this group here. Great facial hair. So I'm thinking, shout out first off to Lance. I told you I'm gonna hit you up on Twitter to get you our link. But I think we did pretty good on this one. I think that it's a solid draft. I mean, after free agency, a lot of things had to be switched around. But if everybody plays it right with my picks, this group's picks right here.
My pretty face.
Yeah. Then you will be happy. You will find some talent. Yeah, you're not gonna get 100 out of 100 because I only did the first 2 rounds. You still gotta worry about 4 or 5 of the rounds for you to choose from. That's scary. I'm an Oakland fan. That's scary.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen, Reggie McKenzie, take my word for it. Pick what I said to pick. Don't think outside the box, because outside the box is just not good for you guys. Not good. So, I mean, yet again, Deshaun Jackson looking for another spot, though. So, so maybe somebody steps up, makes a trade, then maybe some other things might move around a little bit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, hey, it's a good draft.
All right.
This year. Lots of potential, very deep draft. Very, very deep draft, man. So keep following us. Keep it up with our new updates. Should be weekly at this point, I think. So, anything else you got to say, Steve? Nothing?
Looking forward to the season.
Looking forward to a beautiful season.
Go Hawks.
Go Raiders.
Later.
To Seattle and beat them.
Yeah, good chance.
All right. Magic.